Welcome to Kenpo University. My name's Al Babinick. I'm your instructor. Rule number 1. None of the other rules have numbers except rule number 1. And that is establish a base. And what that means, and really if you take a look at any sport anywhere, it's all the same thing. Establish a base. And what it means is when you establish your base, you keep your feet solidly on the ground so that you can maneuver, strike, kick with power and stability. All right? So you keep your feet solidly on the ground so that you can maneuver, strike, or kick with power and stability. It should be self-explanatory, but people break this rule constantly. Constantly. All right? And establish your base. This goes hand in hand with timing. Timing, your hand stops when your foot stops, your foot stops when your hand stops. And you want both of these. Establish your base and get good timing, and you'll be good in the martial arts, pretty much, or baseball, football, whatever else you play. All right? So let's see. What technique can I use as an example for establish a base? All of them. What technique can I use to show establishing a base for a striker? All of them, right? We do it all the time. Every single strike, every single stance, every single technique, every kata. That's why it's rule number 1. Okay? So if I'm going to give you a couple examples anyhow, but if you were doing a punch and you did a block, and then you're reaching forward and trying to punch some guy and you're up on your tippy toe like that because you had the wrong range, that's not a base. I did not have my feet solidly on the ground, right? So broke that right there. So that punch, even if I hit the guy, it's going to be junk because there's nothing behind it, all right? If your feet are solidly on the ground and you hit somebody, now my foot's down there, my hand's at, you can see, if you know what bracing angles are, you can see I have a nice bracing angle for that punch, all right? So we could use any technique in the system as an example for this. Some techniques, I'm going to do, I guess, a tricky one. Flashing mace. Now in my school, this is up in blue as we do this one. Flashing mace, and this is one of the hardest timings in the system, from what Mr. Planis says, is the guy's throwing a right punch at you. I step forward, I block behind the elbow, gently hit the wrist, and just very carefully break his elbow or hyperextend the elbow, and then I've got my check on the elbow. Based on the rule of establish your base, you are not allowed to start spinning and hitting at the same time. Does that look like my feet are solidly on the ground? Was that an established base? No, it wasn't. All right? So, for this technique, you step forward, gently break the arm, keep this up here. I have to hit the guy first. My feet have to be on the ground. So I have to hit the guy first, then my foot can come up and I can do my spin, and I'm in the ground, and then I hit the person. All right? This is not a twist through. So flashing mace is one of those techniques that you see like mangled all over the place. So you do not go twist stance and then unwind. It's just a big spin. It takes a bit of practice to get it down, though. You know, not everything in karate is easy. You got to work at some stuff, and this is one of them. So on flashing mace, it's hit, check. So this turns into your check. This is chambered, ready to hit. I have to hit the guy first. So it's hit and then turn, and boom, I'm ready to turn and hit. All right? And when you do that, I'm just going to use this blue pad because I happen to have it here. So as I spin, I'm just going to do it from this direction. As I spin, my foot was on the ground, and then I hit. I don't want to go and then have my foot hit. But do you see how the timing and the establish a base go hand in hand? It's pretty much the same thing. So for flashing mace, make sure your foot's on the ground when you hit him in the temple. When you spin around, your feet should be on the ground, wham, and then hit the guy. So these are still coming around. Kind of a tougher technique. By the way, remember Kenpo University is advanced studies, okay, about the rules and the principles. So the assumption is you know the rest of this you know this technique, you know the rest of the technique as you're going through. One little thing, just because I'm talking about flashing mace. If you think about it, the guy's throwing a punch at you. When I do this, if he's throwing the punch, when I hit behind the elbow and on the inside of the wrist, it's going to make him pop up and turn. Now you have your temple target. If you never turn the guy, if he's like pointing this punch at you, okay, if you never turn him, you can't hit the temple as a target. You have to pop that arm. Now, hey, now I can hit the temple with my hammer fist, okay? So just remember that your uke or your training partner has to react properly for you. But, I don't know, establish a base is in every technique, every strike, every kata. It's everything that you do. And it goes with timing, all right? So you have to have your feet on the ground so that you can maneuver, strike, or kick with power and stability. We could talk about this one all day long, but let's leave it at that. Thank you for watching this video production from Kenpo University.